everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Gia and this is part 2 of my What It Means to Be Frugally Chic. In this video, I will be discussing 3 more core lifestyle habits of the frugal chic archetype. I also want to wish everyone a happy Fashion Week season. I plan to upload some Fashion Week content coming soon, so if you enjoy these types of videos, I encourage you to share, subscribe, and stick around for more. Alright, so before we get further into the video, I like to share some outfit details. I cannot remember where I got either of the pieces that I'm currently wearing, but I think it still helps to show. Also, can we just acknowledge the baby's breath that I have accompanying this video? I'm wearing this turtleneck and it has these really nice like balloon elevated sleeves. These pants as well. They kind of have like a little cinch waist situation. They're super lightweight, easy to wear. I thought this would be on theme for today's video since we're still talking about the frugal chic, which has a lot to do with minimalism. All right, let's get into today's topic. How to be frugal chic, the mindful spending rebrand. The term frugal chic was originated by Mia Rose McGrath on TikTok. The first habit that is very central to frugal chicness, and one that Gen Z already embodies pretty well, is buying secondhand, and especially when it comes to designer clothing. A couple real world fashion icon examples that come to mind when I think of this particular tip. First coming to mind is Bella Hadid, who's often seen wearing these vintage designer pieces that kind of fuels this resale market trend. Another Gen Z style icon that comes to mind would be Emma Chamberlain, who not only embraces thrifting, but also vintage fashion shopping, often mixing their secondhand finds with their high fashion pieces. This has created this influence over the rest of Gen Z that has not only normalized buying secondhand fashion, but normalize secondhand fashion as not only eco-conscious, but both stylish and aspirational. Thrifting has become so much more than just a way to save money. It marks this cultural reset in Gen Z that is posting their thrift finds and vintage shopping hauls on TikTok and Instagram. By blending affordability with sustainability, Gen Z has turned secondhand shopping into something that's not only environmentally conscious, but undeniably frugally chic. My second observational tip is that the frugal chic is quite particular and usually takes a little bit of time researching what they want before they actually go out and buy it. It reminds me a little bit of this screenshot I found on Pinterest, which reads, "I just have very specific tastes and I know what I like. From my toothbrush to my wardrobe, everything is very simple, very basic. I only have one of everything, but it's the one I like the best. And wherever I go, I curate a very similar space, a similar atmosphere that's somewhere between spare and minimalist. It's kind of random, but a good looking chaos." I even reposted this to my story because I think it speaks to the way that I go about my life. This quote reminds me a lot of Alexa Chung in her very curated, considered style. She's often known for emphasizing hunting for like just the right vintage or like a timeless piece rather than just buying super impulsively. Alexa Chung is a great representation of what it means to have patience and discernment when curating a wardrobe. I have found that there are many layered benefits to adapting this particular tip. A curated wardrobe just lasts you a lot longer. Like for instance, if you have a wardrobe that's filled with trendy clothes, those clothes are gonna last you as long as those trends last. But a fully curated wardrobe, everything is very intentional, everything has a system, there's a routine, and it just avoids a lot of clutter. You know where everything goes, everything has a place in your life, everything has a place in your closet. And overall, I think that this allows you to create greater emotional connection to each item that you have in your closet, because each item wasn't just bought, it was found, it was sourced. Especially if we're going back to that first tip about like buying secondhand, like you really spent your time looking for that item. With that greater emotional connection, you're less likely to waste your money. You're buying fewer items, but they all have greater value. They're all better items that you're buying. And I think we see this a lot with the rise of secondhand marketplaces like Depop, Vestiaire Collective, The Real, that just thrive on people hunting for just the right vintage or designer item. Especially with archival fashion being such a thing, I think people are definitely looking for very specific pieces that may have been trendy a few years ago. And this really links to slow fashion, minimalism, and capsule wardrobe culture. And I find that Gen Z and millennials really value this uniqueness over mass consumption. Gen Z and millennials would rather be seen as different and trendy than just keeping up with the herd and blending in. That has made the search for the piece itself part of the appeal. There's something that comes with, oh, I was really hunting for this piece. I was really hunting for these Dior heels. I've checked everywhere. And this reminds me of, actually, I have a friend that sources vintage designer fashion. And this is what our conversations sound a lot like. Like, she's like, I'm really looking for this bag. You know, I'm bidding against this other person for this bag. This is like, you know, I haven't seen this around. This bag is gonna be trending soon, so I wanna find it early. Like, there's just so much thought and intentionality, research, analytics that go into sourcing the right piece, especially as you get more and more into designer fashion. And just to kind of drive this point home, I know I'm kind of going on tangents. I think that this tip really reinforces the fact that the frugal chic is not picky for the sake of being picky. And it really speaks to a larger cultural value and tangible payoff that comes from being more intentional about what you buy. My last observational tip of the frugal chic is very closely related to the last 2 points, but I really wanted to focus on it here. And that is owning things that reflect your values, that reflect your enthusiasm for self-expression, and it reflects the things that you're passionate about. Expressing these things through the clothes you wear really leads to a more sense of authentic personal style. And when you're buying less but more meaningful items, this can help you just feel more confident and proud of you and everything that you stand for. Someone from the fashion world that really embodies this philosophy would be Vivienne Westwood. She's famous for her mantra, buy less, choose well, make it last. And she consistently encouraged people in her life to invest in pieces that reflect their individuality, their values, and their passions, rather than overconsumption. She was able to show how fashion, and clothes in particular, can be both personal and political at the same time. As I mentioned in my last video, the frugal chic aesthetic is not just about owning less, but about owning things that exude elegance and sophistication. And what better way to exude elegance and sophistication than this quiet confidence that comes with embracing your personal style. Just to summarize the 3 points of the lifestyle of the frugal chic that we went over today. The first one is the frugal chic is buying secondhand. Second tip is the frugal chic is researching what they want before they buy it. The third is the frugal chic is curating their sense of style from a place of authenticity and not overconsumption. So shout out again to Mia Rose McGrath for coining a term that really resonates with our generation, Gen Z, where we're trying to maintain and balance aiming for this aspirational lifestyle while also trying to be realistic about our finances. Personally, this term really resonates with me in the way that I move throughout my life, so I really enjoy putting these videos together, and I was super excited to make a second part of the first video that I made. So if you haven't seen that video already, how to be frugally chic and what it means to be frugally chic, I encourage you to check that video out right after this one so that you can have a little bit more context behind my motivation for this video. I encourage you all to share your thoughts with me in the comments. Does anything come to mind that I didn't mention in this video? Who are some celebrities or influencers that come to mind when you think of frugal chic? I want to know more. I want us to talk about this more. I feel like this has been an opportunity for me to kind of push some dialogue on a conversation that I find really interesting. So I would love to hear your thoughts below. So if you would like to see more content like this in the future, I encourage you to leave a like, comment, and share this video, and also subscribe for more. I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video, and see you then. Bye.
Yeah. Wake up in the morning, you know I do this shit.